cloud. So later on, you guys have a chance to see it if you guys want to go back and review. All right. So if we look at the picture from last week, this the ground is looking okay. It's not looking finished, but it's definitely looking okay. The sky is the one that's definitely not looking okay. It is looking okay all the way to here, okay? But from here up, the color's different. Everything is off. Everything is wrong. But that's not because it's wrong. It's just because we didn't have time to work on it, okay? So that said, let's take a look and let's start working on the sky. If you guys have a big brush, use the biggest brush that you have. You guys could use a round brush. You guys could use a flat brush. These two brushes are student grade brushes. They're both from Michaels. This one's probably like a set of 10 or like 5 brushes. I don't remember how many it was. No, there was like 5 flats and like 3 rounds, like 8 brushes. It was like $10. And this one was maybe $2.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
I'm starting a little bit late, so I don't really know what to do.
We're not doing anything yet, Drew. I'm just talking.
Oh.
So yeah, we're not doing anything yet. But I'm just talking about the different brushes that we could use. I'm just gonna use my biggest brush, okay? And mine just so happens to be this flat brush, all right? If you guys don't have a flat brush, then don't worry about it, but we'll just try to use that big flat brush, okay? So here we go. All right. The big color that we don't have in this picture is actually the blue, okay? And there's a purple transition. We have to understand that the color wheel works just this way. Yellow, red, blue, and from here, from the yellow and the red, we get orange. From the red and the blue, we get purple, and then we have the blue. So I'm just gonna work that same way, okay? So I'm gonna start with my yellow, which is gonna make my yellow a lot richer this time around. Don't worry, there's white on my palette, but it's dried. It was from a later class, or from a different class. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of yellow, and I'm gonna start brightening up my sky just a tiny bit, okay? I'm still leaving my white as my old color, okay? That's all I'm doing. I'm just adding a little yellow. If you guys don't wanna do anything yet, and you guys just wanna see, you guys are more than welcome than just seeing, okay? You guys don't have to do anything yet. Just with water, I'm softening away this line, okay? So once I have this yellow, which is very rich and very sharp, I'm gonna start adding a little bit of red to it, okay? Remember, I'm making my own transition here. I'm not depending on the colors that somebody gave me. I'm making my own transition. So I'm just adding a little bit of red to my yellow, but I'm actually adding a little blue. I don't want a color that's perfectly bright and orange. I want a muted orange. So I want the color to be orange, but blue is opposite on the color wheel, so it'll make my orange just a tad bit muddy. And I'm just gonna use this orange here just to do my transition. I'm gonna clean my brush. My color's a little too intense, so I'm gonna clean my brush. With a clean brush and a little bit of extra red, I'm just gonna work this color away. Don't freak out, don't depend on the paper towel. I have many students that if they do something that's a little wrong, right away they go onto their paper towel and like, what to do? Like I already messed up my painting. No, you didn't. It's acrylic. Acrylic and oil painting are the most forgiving medium. So there's no such thing as messing them up. There might be a little bit of extra work, but there's definitely no such thing as messing
It lost its charge, probably.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna move the red a little bit. So once I'm done with the red, I'm beginning to get into the blues, okay? There's a little problem with the blue. The blue has a really high chroma, so it's really saturated and it's very dark. So as we start adding blue to our color, we also start to add white. And remember, I'm still mixing my blue with that reddish orange. I don't want my colors to have such a high chroma, to be so pure and so intense. So I want my blue to be a little bit of purple. So obviously blue and red gives us purple, but then my color is way too dark. So I need a little bit of white to bring back to a lighter value, okay? And I'm gonna start doing this transition. I'm working really slow because I actually want to be showing you guys kind of step by step. If I were working from my studio here, I'd probably be working a little faster because if I don't work fast, my colors don't mix. So I'm just adding more white to my purple. I think my purple had, like I said, too much of a heavy saturation. So I'm just adding more white to it. And I'm moving my color around. If your color is a little bit more intense rather than white, that's the best problem to have because it's easier to desaturate colors by adding white than not having enough bright color. Okay, and I'm still using my round brush just because I know that this is probably something that you guys have at home. The other brush, the flat brush, you guys might not have at home. So I don't want to use material that you guys don't have at home. Okay, so I'm just pushing my blue around, pushing my blue. And remember, I'm just doing a valley transition. Right now, it's more of a test to see if I could mix yellow, yellow to orange, orange to red, red to purple, purple to blue. Okay, that's my test right now. I'm just mixing some colors together. I don't like my little transition here. I think I lost my red. So I'm just bringing a tad bit more of red. That's all I'm doing. I didn't like my transition. But that's something super easy for me to do, okay? It's not hard at all. I'm just adding a little red and a little white. And I'm just adding a transition. Don't forget that this is the golden hour painting. So it's a specific time of day, right before dusk, when you're almost losing, the sunlight, but there's enough sunlight to actually give you colors to things. Okay. If your sky turns out a little darker than mine, that's okay. I don't mind that. My main concern is that your colors go from yellow to orange to red to bluish red or purple to more blue, okay? The only color that needs to have whites are the blues because the blues are the ones that are getting a little dark. But anywhere up to the orange, you don't need white. You need white once you start getting into the blues. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just finish blocking up my sky. Oh no, it's too dark. What do I do? This is where we just need to add a little bit of white, okay? Sarcasm on the what do I do part. It's just adding white. I don't need to change the color too much. I need to change the value.
Appa, can you open this?
All right, you guys. And that's it, okay? I have now a pretty decent, I don't have a great transition because it's my first layer, but I have a pretty decent transition of my sky, okay? I, for example, think this is too light and it's a little too blue. This could be red, but I could layer that on top. I always remember that in my head, layering is always present, okay? So I could make this lighter and a little bit more red. And this is actually pretty good in terms of darkness, but I still think I could make this a little bit more red. I'm not gonna rush that right now though. I'm gonna let you guys catch up. Those of you guys who are working, I'm gonna give you guys like about 2 or 3 minutes, just catch up. And if you guys have a chance, just lift up your painting and we could go from there. All right, so if you guys are catching up, I'm just looking at the whole videos. Whenever I see all your faces just looking at me, it's a good sign that you guys are almost done. All right. So
I just started now. I just started.
It's okay, Drift. Take your time. Just take your time. Remember, if you're not done, you can always just hang. Right now, this is just the first layer. Remember, on the ground, we made the base layer and then we made our first
I
layer.
don't know where to keep this. This is the painting I'm supposed to paint on.
All right.
Yeah.
And on the sky, we're barely doing the first layer as well. Okay.
I never got to like start the painting. Like,
Did you take a look at the video from last week?
no.
Okay. So whenever you have a chance, the first video is already up. I would just watch the video. I wouldn't try to start because you don't have the drawing, you don't have any of that stuff. But I would just observe the video today. The first video is already on the Google Classroom from last week. You could just kind of scroll down. It shouldn't be too far away. The second video is this one that's coming up. So it should be up by sometime tonight. I have to download it and upload it. So download it in my computer and then download it, because sometimes I edit it a little bit. But so yeah, so it should be up by later today. As long as you see, you might understand, you know, how I'm explaining things. And then whenever you're ready to work at home, you just take your time. Okay.
Jose,
Okay.
Yep.
you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's actually connected to the. If you guys go to the old
checked it.
videos, we're not uploading the new videos in YouTube. We're only uploading the first ones, just to get people to know what we're doing. But if you go to the first videos on your Young Masters class, the first ones are in YouTube. And if you guys just look at those first videos, you'll find our YouTube channel. Okay, it's basically it's art_hub_academy, and you guys should find it there. But if you guys just want to scroll down to some of our old videos and just click on one, it'll send you to our YouTube channel. So Johan's the money boy. All right. And remember, you guys, don't try to layer. Don't try to layer too much. Look at my picture. It's super streaky right now because I know it's the first layer. All these things work with layer. Look at the previous picture from the earlier class. This bunny is beginning to get a lot of layers. So he's beginning to get now all like fluffy and stuff. And he's not even done, but he's already getting some layers. If you guys want to look at the Matisse class, you guys could actually look at the material from that class and just take a look at how I build up layers. Sometimes the worst thing is that we don't want to build up layers. We want this sky to look perfect, 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 perfect. And things do not look perfect that way, okay? Let me put on one of my screens here. Let me put an artist that I like. And let me show you how all artists get started. That way you guys have an idea. So so you guys keep on working. I'll load it up into one of the screens that we're working on. All right. All right, so you guys see it, that screen that I'm sharing right there? It's basically like a red painting. All right, it's actually a night scene, okay? But if you guys look at that screen that I'm sharing right there, the picture is really, really, really gestural. It's actually very, very, very loose. If I continue to build up, like you guys should, that's layer number 1, okay? Super gestural layer. But if I go to layer number 2, a little bit more work and a little bit more detail, not a lot. Layer number 3, a little bit of work and a little bit more detail, still not a lot. Layer number 4, more work and more detail. Layer number 5, more work and more detail. Layer number 6, 7, 8, 9, till it just looks photographic, okay?
I
But
don't see anything.
you guys don't see the screen? I don't
No.
think it's on the, check, I have 2 screens open. Check on the others. I think you can see the other screen. Hold on, let me go through it. Could you guys see that
Now I see it.
Okay.
I see it.
Yes.
All right, so look at that picture. It looks really well done. No, it almost looks like a photograph, no? Yeah, very photographic. But if I keep on changing that and changing that and changing that, it starts looking really, really abstract and abstract and abstract and abstract and abstract. So you guys are in this layer right here, okay? But what happens is many artists don't want to be in that layer. They just want to be in the finished layer. They want to see this picture pretty much finished. But you guys want to actually be in this layer as well, okay? So just want to let you guys know that you guys are here, and eventually we want to get to here, all right? You want to get to something that looks real enough to fool the eye, but this takes layers, all right? Right now, we're not doing too many layers on this. We're doing like 2 layers only, or 3. If you want something to look very photorealistic, like that picture there, you have to do 8 or 10, but it's not any different. It just takes more time and more layers, all right? All right. All right, so you guys all done with this step?
No, wait, no.
Okay. Well, finish or not, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move to my next layer, and you guys could again, I would recommend that you guys take a look and not do a lot rather than do too much while I'm working, because this is gonna be my rendered picture, okay? This is actually how the sky is gonna look. So again, you guys don't have to work with me. If you guys just wanna understand and then do, I'm perfectly fine with that, okay? I'm actually really okay with it. Sometimes I'm more concerned that you guys wanna do at the same speed as I'm working, and I just work a bit fast. So yeah, so just make sure that you guys take your time. You guys do a good job, but take a look at what I'm gonna do in this layer. All right, I'm gonna go to my big brush, all right? I don't like to use little brushes. Little brushes are for little detail, which we're gonna do a little bit on there, but not too much. So I'm gonna go back to this big brush over here. All right, so I'm happy with my highlights. I'm somewhat happy with my midtone. Like I told you, I'm pretty unhappy with my blues, okay? But now it's a good time to fix that problem. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna start pushing more oranges into the blues, okay? This is gonna have a bit of white, but it's also gonna have a bit of blue. But what's more important is your color is gonna be transparent, okay? Transparent means that there's a lot of water to it. If you guys had mediums, I would be using acrylic medium, light, but I'm not working with you guys with mediums because mediums are, you know, they're professional techniques, and you know, sometimes we don't have access to those things. So if you guys don't have access to those things, there's no need for us to have access to those, okay? So what I'm gonna use here are very muddy blues, very muddy oranges, and very muddy red oranges. You guys could actually look at this, and it feels a lot like the colors on the picture, okay? Right now, my sky has a, like I discussed, it has a super high chroma or a super high color saturation. We want to get rid of that, all right? If your colors are not the same, as long as you follow the rule of desaturation, you will be fine. If you guys are making your colors super rich, not using a lot of white and not mixing it with a lot of your complementary colors, you're gonna be in a world of trouble, okay? Again, I'm not gonna get you in trouble. That's not the trouble you're gonna be in. You're just gonna be in a world of oversaturated colors. All right, so here we go. So I'm gonna go into my blue color, mixed with a lot of oranges and a lot of white. All right, here we go. So it looks really gray. If you look at my sky, it's no longer really nice. But there's another thing that I like. It's also not really patchy anymore. Your second layers become less patchy than your first layers. So if you guys had a concern of an over patchy layer, now is the time that we fix that, okay? Make sure your color has a ton of white and a lot of water. Let the water make your color flow. Without water, your color is really static. So you want to make sure you have water. You don't want static colors that don't want to move for anybody. You want to make sure that we have nice colors, or sorry, they're nice to me, but they're actually quite muddy. But muddy colors to me are the best colors. They're the most real colors. So I want to make sure that I'm moving this muddy, muddy sky. If you just want to add a little bit more chroma or more pigment, just gently do it, okay? I prefer a muddy sky though than an oversaturated sky. I'll let you guys try to figure that one out though. There's some balance in painting. And sometimes the balance comes with practice. If you don't practice enough, most of your colors tend to be very saturated. Or if you don't practice enough and you don't have the experience, most of the colors tend to be really muddy. If you guys paint a lot but don't practice, you guys go to the two extremes, either very much a lot of color or very, very, very muddy. But look at how clean my layer looks this time around. This is the cleaning layer, okay? This is the layer that we actually start to smoothen out. And bigger brush strokes smoothen more than tiny brush strokes. Okay, make sure all this mud is in your picture. Now, I'm gonna start adding a little bit of more reds, but also more whites. White you might need a lot in this layer. I have to actually squeeze some more. I don't need a lot of color for this layer, but I do need a lot of white. So I'm just gonna squeeze some more white. And I'm using a student grade acrylic because like I said, I don't want to use materials that you guys don't have at home. So I'm using more student grade materials. With some of my adults, I'll use a little bit of richer paints, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. At the end, what matters is how we understand our color and how we manipulate color. So while this is wet, I'm going to start building up a transition. I'm never going to try to perfectly get rid of my blue. If I get rid of my blue, my picture becomes flat. But it's getting a little closer with that layer red. Remember, I layered this red on top of that blue. I'm going to pull some of those gentle clouds somewhere over here. There's some fun stuff happening over here. There's this kind of smog or little, this is definitely smog. We learned how to paint smog. I was gonna say it's like, it might be something that's not smog, but in reality it is smog. So smog is this cloudy looking thing that it's not really a cloud, but it kind of feels like it's reflecting some colors from Earth. That's smog. And we gotta control a little bit of that. So remember, this red is layered. So this red is not just red. It's red plus the blue that's behind it. It's really good. It's really important for us to understand that, okay? Make sure your colors have a ton of white, okay? A ton of white. So there's a difference, you guys, between matching color and matching value, okay? Matching color to some people, it's easier. Matching value to other people is easier. Right now, I'm matching both color and value, but we have to match both, okay? Then as we go a little further down, I'm gonna do more of a muddy orange. Remember, I'm still mixing it with that blue. At no point am I cleaning my brush, and at no point am I not using that blue, okay? And what we're gonna do here, just gonna add something that blends this red into that yellow. So we're adding a transition. And you guys just have to remember about the rainbow. If you have a red and you have a yellow, you obviously need an orange to transition. if you have a red and you have a yellow, if you have a blue and you have a different, let's say a blue and a red, you need a purple to transition. But just think about logic, okay? This shouldn't be tricky. This should be logical. It should be the colors of the rainbow working for you. Have fun. There's, like I said, a little bit of smog that kind of pushes over this way. So I'm going to push some of that nice color over this way. Just really muddy smog. Okay. And when I have this, by the way, you guys see light there and light there. It's not actually light, it's my paper is warping. It's actually a very consistent color, but because my paper is warping, it actually looks a little light. So you guys might see light here, and light here. That's not that I'm using more white, it's that my paper is actually kind of doing this, okay? And finally, I'm just gonna use more white and yellow, and I'm gonna make my transition to my yellow, okay? I'm gonna make sure that I keep some of this high chroma yellow, so the yellow that doesn't have a lot of white. White actually makes your yellow flat. It makes most of your warm colors flat, actually. So I'm gonna try to make sure that I keep these intense yellows right about there. And here I'm gonna just push with some of these colors, just a little bit of my clouds here. Okay. Only the clouds that blend with your color theory, not any other ones. And here I'm just gonna look around, all right? I like this, but I don't like the transition, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more red just to saturate my color a little bit more. This is the artistic part. This is the observation. This is you guys being creative here, okay? Look at not what we're doing just step by step, but look at what we're missing, okay? Trust in what I'm saying, but if what I'm saying is not reflecting on your picture, you guys are more than welcome to take initiative and actually change. Maybe your color needs a little bit more blue than mine, okay? Maybe your color needs a little bit more red than mine. That's depending on the way you guys are mixing color. So just make sure that you guys don't just trust me on this. You guys practice, but you guys also take some initiative. Okay? And you guys could do 1, you guys could do 2, you guys could do 3, you guys could do 20. Doesn't really matter. You guys could just practice at home. That's what makes you better. I'm not good at painting because I've done 1 painting or 1 class. I'm good at painting because I've done it since I was your guys' age and really good for a really long time. So that's what makes, you know, practice makes you guys a master. So here I'm going to use more yellow and white just to soften this transition in. Ooh, I don't like the amount of white there. Okay. It's just more yellow and white. So I'm putting, like I said, a high chroma color. I'm going to go over my furthest mountain. I don't mind that. Let me know whenever you guys are done with your sky. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with mine. These things that look weird on mine, they're actually not that weird in real life. They're weird because of the bumps. But in reality, they're not that weird. I could see those kind of on my other screen. They kind of look funny. But when I try to change it just to make it less funny, it looks funny in reality. just because it's not that I did anything wrong. It's just that the paper is creasing or warping. That's it. And sometimes your paper does this. If you guys are working on acrylic board or any sort of like canvas board, you won't get this. But because we're working on paper, or at least myself, I'm working on paper, I will get these. All right.
What if
But I
you
really
don't
like my
have
sky.
acrylic?
Huh?
What if you don't have acrylic paint?
I could work with you with watercolor and other mediums, but acrylic is just what we're doing just because of the series that we're working on. But if you don't have acrylic, I could work with you with other mediums. The closest one would be oil painting, oil pastels, and I could really work really closely with color pencils. But again, let me know what medium, because with some students I'm working with watercolor. It just depends on what medium you have, okay? No, there's no, I understand that you guys might not have all the materials at home, but if you guys don't, I could really change it up a bit and still make it a very comprehensive course. I just have to know what medium you're working with. Okay? As eventually acrylic will be the best, because not because it's the best medium, actually not one of my favorite ones, but because it is what we're using, and it is a little different than other mediums. And it's good to understand that difference. Remember, part of art is making you guys a good balanced artist. And when you guys get older, if you guys are doing your AP class or whatever other class you guys are doing, you could use acrylic, even though you might not like it. You could use oil paint. You could use a lot of different mediums. But we're trying to make you guys really well-rounded artists. That way, in the future, you guys could just pick what you want to use and just excel on that, you could say. All right, you guys. So if you guys are done with your sky, if you guys are done with your saturation of your sky, I think I'm pretty happy with mine. Okay. I think I should be okay with mine. The next step, you guys have to consider the value range, okay? The value range is something that's really, 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 really important, okay? Basically, what the value range tells us is pretty much like in the ground over here. As your colors get closer, they get more saturated. As they get further away, they become 1, okay? Your clouds in the distance look a lot like 1. Your clouds that are really close, which are your highest clouds up here, they look a lot like very dark and very light and very middle. So these have a lot of colors. These have very, 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 very little color, okay? So what we're gonna start off with, the distant clouds, okay? You guys could use this little brush here. I'm gonna still use my big brush. I love using big brushes and I don't like to change that. So I'm gonna use this for my cloud in the distance, but we wanna discuss what's going on, okay? Again, I still get kind of like, it looks really funny the way this is creasing, but in reality, it's not creasing that much. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna make an orange. If you guys are still working, you don't have to stop. You don't have to, break your train of thought. Okay. So what I'm gonna do here is a really reddish orange, and I'm gonna use a little white. That's why I'm mixing it over my white color. But I want to make sure that I do have a little higher chroma or a little bit more color in my picture. So this is going to be my drawing color, okay? Really light. So what I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to dab a few clouds. A little too dark still for me. So I'm going to add more white. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few clouds here. I'm just doing horizontal lines, by the way. I'm not doing anything fancy to your clouds, just horizontal lines. Okay, using my same color, I'm gonna do this diagonal cloud over here. Okay, this cloud is kind of coming down. As pretty much it's coming down at an angle. Okay. So I'm just drawing with a color. This is not the only color that this picture has, but I'm just drawing with one color. I don't want to confuse myself. So if I, again, introduce 20, 30, 40, 50 different colors, I'm going to make a mess out of what I'm trying to do. So one color is sufficient enough for me. So here, I'm going to make sure that I pull the color around. My color has a lot of water, by the way, okay? So what a lot of water allows, it allows for transparent color. So if you guys were able to take a photo of this, this looks really light right now, okay? But when this dries, it's actually not gonna be that light. It's actually gonna be more of the color from behind because it's super watery. Right now, it has a lot of water, so it reflects a lot. So your camera catches that reflection. But when this dries, it's gonna be pretty muted because I'm making sure that I'm using a lot of water. Sometimes I'm just using the corner of my big brush. And if I want, I could always go back to a smaller brush or even this round brush. I'm gonna clean it up a bit. And I'm just gonna gently, 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 with a little bit of the water that's in there, just scumble the color around. Don't forget, scumbling is just moving your color in semicircles. That's all it is. We got all this fancy terminology for art, you know, chiaroscuro, scumbling, esfumato. All these are just fancy words for softer edges, esfumato. Chiaroscuro is dark and light. But this is just art terminology, which is good to learn, by the way. You kind of, you guys talk about that. If you guys have an uncle or a aunt or somebody that is a good artist, and you guys use that terminology, he's going to be like, what? You know, relearning this stuff. It's good learning. Okay. But yeah. But if you guys just don't have anybody that, you know, does too much art and just, it's like, it's light and dark. that's good. But chiaroscuro is fancy. Esfumato is fancy. Know your artists, you know, know your people that you follow, the artists that you follow. That's important. A lot of the techniques come from really experienced artists, old masters. And I always try to get you guys involved with those techniques. Those of you who take my regular classes, you guys always hear me talking about these, esfumato techniques, all these fancy terminology, because I did get raised on a traditional schooling. So it wasn't just required, it was, I mean, I guess it was really required because the instructors wouldn't pay a lot of attention if you called it, you know, why is my color too bright? It's like, what do you mean, why is it too bright? It's like, oh, why is it high chroma? It's like, ah. So we would actually have to learn the fancy terminology. All right, so I'm just adding these really fun clouds on here. And I'm just going back and I'm scumbling. So again, I'm softening up the edges. If you begin to look at my clouds, they might not be exactly the same as in the picture, but they do feel like clouds, okay? That's important. Trying to make them light, trying to make them soft, trying to make them transparent. So it's okay if they look muddy. It's okay if they look messy. That's part of the beginning of the clouds, right? But they're beginning to feel like clouds. All of a sudden, this landscape is beginning to fool our eyes, beginning to like, all right, I like, believe it. It could be real. It could, maybe not. It could, you know, but I'm beginning to believe. And that's what we are. We are magicians of the eye right now. Sometimes we are magicians of ideas or we're philosophers. Philosophers are artists that they paint idea based. So we're part philosophers. And then there's artists that paint to fool the eye. They paint realistic. And that's magicians of idea. Okay. So both are fine. Right now it's in every type of art form has being invented. So now artists get to choose what kind of artist they want to be. They want to be realistic artists, you know, more classical school artists, or do they want to be more idea based or more philosophy based artists? At the end, art falls under philosophy. It's a branch of philosophy. It's the philosophy of aesthetics. All right. All right. So I'm happy with my clouds. You know, they are where they are. They're kind of fun the way they are, but they're just light. Again, mine might seem light and dark because of the paper creasing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm literally going to make them dark. So as I add a little bit more red to my color, I'm also going to add more blue. Theoretically, that makes a purple, okay? A reddish purple. And it's quite dark. It's not pitch black, but it is quite dark. All right. And again, I'm mixing it on my own same mess. I love working from my own mess because the colors are already blending from the previous color. So any new color that I make will just naturally blend right onto it, okay? I'm gonna add a little burnt sienna or a little brown instead of yellow because the yellow makes it light. So we gotta be careful with our yellow. And I'm gonna make sure my color's a little red right now. And again, really watery. I'm gonna just, this is really watery. So right now it looks extremely dark, but in reality, it's not that dark because it's very transparent, okay? So I'm just gonna pull my color here. Make sure my brush is vertical. Again, if you guys wanna take a pause, if you guys just wanna take a look at what I'm doing, I am super okay with that. I prefer that you guys understand what I'm doing by observation and then just apply it to your practice. Then you guys are working way too fast and you guys don't know what in the world is going on. And this color, again, it's a beautiful color. It's a lovely color, but it is not gonna transition into that yellow, okay? I know that. So I'm gonna have to make a red color that transitions into that yellow. Just like the color theory, remember, just like the sky, the big dark to the big light, they need a transition of color. So now I'm going into a muddy yellow here. I'm gonna go ahead and in a little semicircle, start scumbling this more reddish orange into it. And look at my color. When I apply my color, it looks really dark, but as it dries, it stops to lose its darkness because it's really watery, okay? Try to practice the amount of water that you're using. And dab your brush. Don't paint like robots. Don't, no, dab your brush. Give your picture texture. Texture is one of the illusions of reality, okay? All right. I'm gonna use a little bit of this guy over here. All right, if I like my color saturation, which to be honest with you, I'm pretty happy with myself. The next thing is we're gonna jump the middles because the middles are actually right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go all the way into our highlights. So right now we're working from right to left. Now we're gonna be working from left to right, okay? And that's only for the big clouds, by the way. So this brush has nothing but water. Nothing, and very little water, by the way. It's kind of dry brushing, but I'm just working a little bit of my textures in. Very little. Okay, all right. So it looks pretty good. Now, finally, I'm going to work on my lights. You could use the smallest brush that you have. I'm not going to use a small brush because I don't think you need a small brush. But if you guys have trouble controlling, use a small brush. All right. And clean your brush, because for highlights, you do need a clean brush. I'm going to mix a very yellow orange, but it has a lot of white to it. All right. And whenever you guys do a highlight, try not to make a outline like try to make sure you dab an outline in. Okay. If you guys make an ever-going line and you guys never stop, you guys are not going to get a nice looking cloud. What you actually want to do is first I'm going to color check. Color check is just making sure that I see a color and I like my color. Color check. It's good, but it's a little too dark for me. So I'm going to add a little bit more white. And this time, by the way, I'm not using a lot of water. For highlights, you need a lot of paint. So color check, much better. So compare that top color to that bottom color. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an implied outline. Okay, just a little edge of my cloud. Go there. You guys don't have to copy your picture, by the way. Your picture is just an inspiration. Clouds are one of those things that it's not about how well you copy a cloud, but how well you interpret a cloud. And the one thing I am making sure is that all my brush strokes start on the very far left of each cloud. Okay, so this is not the very far left of the painting, but it is the far left of this cloud. This is not the far left of this painting, but it is the far left of this cloud, okay? So don't forget, I'm not looking for the far left of the painting. I'm looking for the far left of each cloud. So this is the far left of this cloud right here. And again, if you guys need a smaller brush, I'm not forcing you not to use a smaller brush. I'm just don't want to use something that you guys might not be using at home. So if you have a small brush, by all means use it. If you guys don't have a small brush, you could be very gentle with a big brush, just like I am, and you could still end up with a phenomenal painting. So once you do all the left, clean up your brush, and just with a dry brush, gently semicircle, again, scumble it in. Dry brush means there's no paint on my brush. It's just an empty, pretty much a clean slate, an empty brush. All right. If you guys need a transition, you guys could later transition. I think the scumbling should be sufficient transition, but I'll let you guys see. I don't know how your individual paintings are doing. Okay. And once I let my water dry off, this is gonna blend so nicely. Right now it might not look that way because it's super wet, but just let your layers dry, okay? Not everything is about working with really heavy wet layers. Oh, I forgot my little cloud right here. Little cloud, all right. And I could scumble this cloud in. And I could scumble this cloud in. In this time of the day, most of your highlights are in the bellies of the cloud, not on the top of the cloud, because light is coming from below. In most paintings, your light would be coming from above, but not in this case. There's a little different scenario. All right. And there are a few lonely clouds over here, you know, just kind of hanging out by themselves. but they're very charming though because they are real. They feel like not every cloud is always mishmashed by its next cloud and its next cloud. So this feels very nice. This one over here feels really nice too. Kind of lonely, but good. Lonely is okay. All right. I'm just going to do a few light clouds down here. All right, and just a few lights. All right, so let me know when you guys are done with this step. This step takes a while, you guys. It's a very important while. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna do it super fast and you know, just be done with this. This is actually one of the most important parts of this painting. So make sure you guys take your time. I'm not trying to rush you here. I'm gonna do some of the brights over here. And let me see what you guys do in a minute or so, okay? But I do wanna make sure, I have to emphasize that I want you guys to take your time. I don't need you guys to paint fast. Fast painting is not gonna make you, it's not about the speed that you guys are painting. It's about the quality that you guys are doing, okay? So I'm not too concerned about speed. I'm concerned about quality. So I'll go ahead, you guys. I'll let you continue to work. I'm gonna take a little mini break, just doing nothing, just kind of waiting for you guys. But I'll take any questions if you guys have any questions to be had, okay? But I'm here. I'm still right here. But I'm not going to be painting because I don't think my picture needs a lot of painting. I will be answering any questions that you guys might have. I do need to paint this guy though. Oops. Forgot this guy. All right. But there we go. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm here. I'm over here. Okay. If not, I'm going to let you guys work for the next 10 minutes. Try to build up your layers. Let me know if you guys don't like something, you know, bring it up. Let's take a look at what's going on. And in the last, you know, 20 minutes of class, we're going to work a little bit on this atmosphere. The furthest mountains right here, just a little bit. But just make sure you guys spend a good amount of time on your clouds, okay? So I'll let you guys work. I'm here. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. How's school homework going, you guys? Good?
Okay.
Okay. Are you getting packets? Are you actually getting online classes?
Kind of.
Drew, what do you mean kind of? It's either packets or online classes.
Like we have like online classes and then we have online work and then we also have like paper stuff.
Okay. Do you go to a private school or public school?
Public.
Okay. Because I know some public schools started by doing just like packets, and then they kind of switched over to also online classes. Well, that's cool. Keeping you guys busy. Remember, guys, it's the same three colors that we're using. It's mostly the yellow, the red, and the blue. I actually haven't even touched the browns and the blacks. I thought we were gonna have a little bit of time to go down here, but I'm not even concerned about that. It's mostly how well you guys mix these three. If your color looks more orange, you just have to make sure that you guys use more red and yellow. If your color looks more yellow orange, it's more yellow. If it looks more muddy, it's more orange and blue. And if it looks more blue, it's just more blue, okay? But it's the way you guys build up your layers that's really important, okay? Some of my highlights actually faded away once my water dry. I might consider, just coming back on some of these and just adding a little bit of a whitish color, more white, orange, or I guess you guys could call it peach. That's the modern name for that color. But I might just touch some of these front edges, okay? Once my picture dried, it just kind of all muted. And it's okay. Remember, muting is actually okay because that means that your colors are blending together. But if they're blending too much and you actually want to show something, you could just come back and just retouch some of these edges. This just happened. I was hanging out, just kind of waiting for you guys, letting you guys work. This just started to happen, and that's okay. There's also that thing. Whenever you guys are working, you guys could step away from your picture, let it rest for a few seconds. You guys have to let the paint do its own thing. You cannot just rush the paint. You cannot just, you got to let the paint do its thing. So I'm just coming back and just pushing the highlights. I'm going to blend it on the inside, but not on the outside. On the outside over here, I need a sharp edge. But on the inside, as I come that way, I could actually blend it in.
If we don't finish, the video will be posted, right?
Yeah, the video's always posted. It might take about 30 minutes to an hour after the end of class. But usually, once I finish the class, I'll post a video. And you guys could always go back if you guys missed a spot or you guys got confused in a spot or anything. You guys could still work and layer it. That's perfectly fine.
Because I'm nowhere near done, so.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I work, like I said, I work fast because I've been painting for a long time, but I'm not expecting you guys to rush or anything. That's why I've been saying over and over again that I don't want to rush painting. I prefer that if we don't finish something, just stop at a good spot, and then I'll move on to the next step, and you guys could actually go back from home and just rewind the video, take a look at what I did. I also post a photograph because I know the Zoom video is not as high quality. So I'll also post a photograph just to show you guys roughly how my photograph looks in comparison to the video. So I do both. We used to do YouTube videos, but that's just to kind of let our students know how the videos were actually working. We no longer do YouTube videos, but we still do everything else, but just not the YouTube videos. Well, we actually just do one type of YouTube videos, just the fun videos. And if you guys need any requests, like if you guys want to learn how to do something, you guys are at home or anything. One of my students wanted to do his dog or his cousin's dog. So I'm just posting a video of how to do pets, okay? One of my students was interested in chibis, and I posted a video on how to do chibis, okay? But one of our students wanted to do digital work, and I think Billy posted a video on digital work. But it's just, if you guys have anything that you guys want to do, we have time to actually show you guys some fun and new things. So yes, if you guys want to, just let us know. Like, oh, I want to learn how to do anime, or I want to learn how to do hyper realism. Anything that you guys want, really. It's really up to you. You guys could let us know, and we're happy to post videos on that too. They might not be up like on a regular basis like these ones, but we'll post them here and there, and you guys should get a little buzz on your classroom. Just to make sure.
I might want to do anime.
Okay. Let me know. Let me know. You know, anime is a big family, you know? there's basically, anime means Japanese cartooning. Is there any type of anime that you're looking for? Are you looking for like Naruto or any of that sort? Let us know. But yeah, anime is like a big family. And then anime, you could get like Pokemon, Naruto, Dragon Ball. You can get all these different subcategories of how to do really cartoony looking anime, or more realistic, even though it's not realistic at all, but just more structure style anime. Okay. But yeah, if you guys have any questions on that stuff, just post it, and we'll be happy to try to figure the type of anime that you're working. It's not too hard, by the way. And yeah, we have a lot of our students that go into animation school. This year we have one student going into Art Center, one student going into Cal Arts. Two are going into USC, but we work with our students into animation as well. And yeah,
I've had a friend that's gone to one of your camps. His name's Arnav. Have you heard?
I know an Arnav. I'm not sure. I think I know like 3 Arnavs, but
And he went to an animation, like he did like a flip book.
Okay, I think I know who he is. All right. So we'll also be having summer camps this summer. I don't know how. I think the summer kind of started for you guys already, because I don't know if you guys are going to be able to go back to school, but yeah, I mean, we'll still have technical summer camps.
Are we finishing this painting today?
I don't think so. I think we're going to be very close, but I still think we're going to, like I said, we're going to be very close today, but I don't want to rush because I still don't think we're done with our mountains, even though we are pretty close. So I think we're going to get very close to finishing, but I don't think we're going to get finished. I still think we need a little work here. So we might have time in the next 2 minutes. I'm going to start you guys here, and then the next class in like 20 minutes, we're going to work on the foreground. Okay? What's missing in the foreground? Anybody wants to wild guess? Color intensity. It's missing saturation. So the foreground needs a high chroma. The background needs gray colors. So this thing is working really good in terms of gray. This thing needs more color. That might take a little longer. All right, you guys, I'm going to give you 1 more minute. Don't start anything new because I'm going to work on the mountains here, and then that's going to be it for today, okay? So I'm just going to give you 1.5 minutes, just like 7:10, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on this part. Don't forget, if you guys are not done with something, the videos are going to get posted, okay? That's the most important thing. Some students want to rush because they think this picture is gone forever. It's like, no, it's not gone forever. It's just gone for a few minutes. I'm going to soften my sky myself. I think it's a little too busy. So I'm just going to use a bigger brush. and just soften my sky a bit. Don't forget that all the new layers that you do will actually clean up the old layers. Some of the old layers have great texture, but sometimes too much texture.
I'm still doing my thing.
What's the thing? The painting?
No. I was talking to my my parent.
Okay.
It was just done.
Okay. All right, there we go. A more quiet sky. All right, you guys. So again, you guys could pause and wherever you guys left off. Don't start anything new. When you talk about atmospheric color, we have to paint the picture with their atmosphere, okay? Same thing as I'm doing right now. You guys could look at different artists, just like I discussed at the beginning. Mark Carter, Anders Zorn, just a limited palette. You guys could look at different artists like Dunlop. He's a watercolorist, but he's always talking about this atmospheric theory, which is super correct, okay? When you want things to be distant, you want things to be the color of the atmosphere. What is the big color of the atmosphere that you guys see? Close one eye and squint the other and look at the picture if you guys have the picture on your screen. Or if you guys don't have the picture at the screen, I'm gonna put it really quickly onto just the screen over here. All right, let me just show you my screen. And if you guys take a look at this, if you guys close one eye and you guys squint the other, what color do you guys really see on the whole picture? It's up in the top, it's in the middle, and it's in the foreground, and it's in pretty much everywhere. Anybody want to give a wild guess?
Orange.
Orange, there you go. So the whole picture is orange. The atmosphere is orange, okay? So what I'm gonna do first, just as I did with the rest of the picture, I am gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just do one of those muddy oranges, the same ones that I have. There's no need for me to work new stuff, okay? And I'm gonna just really gently touch the top of these mountain ranges over here. It's way too saturated. So I'm gonna use a little bit of water, just a little bit of water, move it around, okay? And I'm also gonna go over the stuff I did last week. My blues are still gonna be more blues. My greens are still gonna be green. My lights are still gonna be light, but now everything is gonna be orange, which is really important. The more you guys bind your atmosphere, the more real your picture looks, the more believable it looks. If you guys just, oh, my mountains have to be color of the mountains, you know, they have to be green, my other thing needs to be yellow, no, things are gonna be so disconnected. If your mountains are far, they're probably gonna be very orange, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm doing this orange color that I'm just spreading all over. On the right side, I see a higher chroma over here. So I'm gonna use a little bit more color, okay? Just a little bit more red and orange, just right here, almost on fire, okay? This right side is beginning to be on fire. All right, really good. So that's all I'm doing. I'm painting my picture high chroma and more yellow orange, but nonetheless, it's just orange on orange on orange on orange, okay? Now, here's just a matter of just like the sky. Just take your time. I'm gonna use a lot of white here and a little bit of yellow. It's a lot of white. And I'm gonna make this little guy as far as I can make it, okay? So far means that the mountain back here needs to have the color of the sky, okay? All right. Just gonna work a little brighter here. And just with a dry brush, clean your brush, blend your color away, okay? My next color is gonna be a gray purple. So I need to mix purple here, just add a ton of white. I'm gonna try to make my further mountain a little further than the one in the picture. So I'm gonna try to use more white. If it has more color, it's gonna come closer. If it has more white, it's gonna go further. Okay, so I'm using a bit of white, purple mixed with that yellow, and I'm just trying to make this little guy go as far as it can go. I'm still leaving some of those oranges, you guys. And more importantly, I'm taking my time. There's no need to rush. Nobody's rushing me. If you guys don't want to do this now because you guys don't want to mess it up, you guys don't have to do this now. But you guys want to do this whenever you guys are finished with whatever you guys are working on. I'm just giving you guys an example. That way you guys could still work whenever I'm not on the screen. Here I'm adding a little orange. Okay. But I pretty much just want to make my little mountain in the distance look very far and textured. Okay. Now, as I get closer, I actually want to see my green, so I'm going to mix more blue and yellow into my same mud. Our color should be really ugly. Like just mud after mud after mud after mud after mud. But they should all be connected. That's why I'm still mixing them between themselves. If I start mixing them all over the place, they're not going to be connected. They're actually going to be quite disconnected. All right, so muddy green. Here we go. Whoa, somebody just fell. All right, so muddy green. I'm going to try to go a little dark here. I just want to make sure that it still has a bit of white, okay? It just has to be a little darker than the closer green. And there's no need to rush. Don't forget the video will be up later. It's more the understanding that you guys need than the rush. Like I said, most of my students that I have on a regular basis, they'll hear me like a broken record, but it's important because I say the same thing, not because I need to say the same thing, but because I want to emphasize on how important that is. So here I'm using a little bit more red. I see more saturation on my orange that I yet don't have. And as I go down, I'm just going to use more yellow. Remember, this is my lighter color too. It's not even my dark color. This is my light color. And finally, I'm going to go with that dark green, really intense green. This is the first time I'm actually going to use the black. And I'm using the black just to make my color darker, not to make it black, okay? But I need to start making my pigment just a tad bit darker. It can't always be so transparent. And I'm going to start doing my next layer of mountains. All right, guys. And when I'm done with this, I'm not going to be done for today. All right. Again, I'm not asking you guys to rush. I'm just asking you guys to understand. And that's going to be my picture for today. So wherever my mountains are more going up, my lines are more vertical. And wherever my mountains are more going down, or they're more diagonal. And wherever my mountains are going down, they're more horizontal. Okay. And that's going to be it. All right, guys. So keep on painting, finish up your background, finish up your sky. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm still going to be here for the next 10 minutes. If you guys can, also let me see your pictures before we disconnect in the next 10 minutes. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. Like I said, I'm here to answer them, okay? I'll post the video up in the next maybe 30 minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and take a photograph as well.